Man, look at the shit I spoke about. Look at the shit I put in these people's ears.
Okay, y'all, so y'all know how there's always talk about conspiracy in the industry, the talk of selling souls, the talk of satanic, demonic stuff. So I really love that topic and I really want to talk about it and get into it. So the first thing that I want to do is show you this clip because I feel like this clip really just is a good starter for like that really sets up the conversation for the things that I want to say about it. It's this clip of this guy talking about how in the 90s, whoever had control, you know, over the industry, the music industries, they wanted to see rap music go into a specific direction. That's what he's talking about.
The secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation. He says, hello. After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making my story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I've simply decided to leave out the names and all the details that may risk my personal well-being and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for. So he says, between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came to Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then, since technology and media weren't accessible to people like they are today. The industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way it wanted.
Right.
This may explain why in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Rap music's new direction.
Yeah.
Little did I know we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices ever seen.
Crazy.
So this was the meeting. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people were being there.
Right.
Most of them familiar faces. Speaking of those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private meeting to discuss the future of hip-hop.
Talk to him.
Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be from our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign the confidentiality agreement, preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued, in some cases, disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long, but very clear on matters and consequences, which stated that violating the terms would result in job termination immediately. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but could not find anyone who had the answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. Nobody stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me.
That's right.
A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected all the agreements from us. So now it's going to get to the good part because the meeting about to start. It says, quickly after the meeting began, hold on one second. Quickly after this meeting began, one of the industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everybody else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no other details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but that was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industries and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable in the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement.
Damn.
He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. Then he says, I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in awe and confusion. At the same time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with music. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates. The more inmates, the more the government would pay these prisons. It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employees had become silent investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by making music which promote criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies, and as employees, we'd also be able to buy stocks in these prisons. Immediately, silence came over the room. You could have heard a pin drop. I remember looking around to make sure I wasn't dreaming and saw half of the people with dropped jaws. My daze was interrupted when someone shouted, "Is this a fucking joke?" At this point, things became chaotic.
Right.
Two of the men who were part of the unfamiliar group grabbed the man who shouted and attempted to remove him from the house. A few of us, myself included, tried to intervene. One of them pulled out a gun, and we all backed off. They separated us from the crowd, and all four of us was escorted outside. My industry colleague, who opened up the meeting earlier, hurried out to meet us and reminded us that we had signed an agreement and would suffer the consequences of speaking out about this publicly, or even those who attended the meeting.
Damn.
I asked him, why was he involved with something so corrupt? And he replied, it's bigger than the music business and nothing we can do. It's bigger than the music business and nothing we want to challenge without risking consequences. We all protested as we walked back into the house. I remember word for word the last thing he said. It's out of my hands now. Just remember you signed an agreement. He then closed the door behind him. The men rushed us to our car and actually waited until we drove off the property.
So they basically just went on to say how the guy who wrote the letter ended up leaving the music industry because he felt guilty, because he was legit just watching this plan unfold, and they were told not to sign any more political rappers, no more rappers that had a message, no more fun rap, like the Queen Latifahs or like Will Smith type of rappers, nothing that was positive. And they were also talking about how the youth was just being preyed upon and influenced. So they only wanted rap music to portray this violent, negative, destructive type of lifestyle. And when you look at society today in the music industry, what is the most mainstream type of rap music? Like, niggas is just eating it up. Krazy Bone was just saying how evil they really have to be in order to think up a plan like this and really execute it. So I don't believe that prison was the only and ultimate goal with this plan, which I kind of get into that a little bit later too. So of course, after you see this clip, you're like, okay, so they intentionally created the music that they did in order for it to go into a specific direction. They're really making certain type of music in order to influence and to control. It really makes me think about this quote that I heard that goes something like, if you want to know the society, look at their music, And it's just really a testament to show that the things that we create and consume collectively is really just a reflection of who we are and what we represent. And it's crazy because you look back and you think about like what he said in the video and their plan and how they wanted to see it go in this direction, and then you really see how it played out and how it really happened. Like the plan, like they succeeded. Just look at the youth, look at society. I mean, it's not even just the youth, it's every generation. Every generation glamorizes. There's a group of people that always glamorizes and glorifies this negative type of lifestyle, this destructive, violent type of lifestyle, you know, in the music. And the music that I'm really referring to is like that really violent promoting of murdering and killing one another. Like I'm talking about that real like gory type of music. It just really makes me think like, okay, is this music really a part of our culture because it is a part of our culture, or was this part of the culture given to us, you know, for ill intent? Like was this part of the culture intentionally created by elitist government, whoever, whatever you want to call it, shadow government, Illuminati, whatever? Was it intentionally created in order to brainwash society to follow suit? There's this YouTuber and leader in general that I really love. His YouTube channel is called You Are Creators, and he made a video kind of talking about how these rappers are just dying young and dying at the hands of other people.
Here's a message to your favorite rapper. No disrespect, only respect, man to man. If you talk about death, if you talk about killing and destruction, that energy has no choice but to replicate and show up as examples in your life, no matter what. Now, I'm not saying you'll die or something will happen to you. I'm saying you will see more examples of the energy that you're broadcasting. You can't talk about death and destruction and then get surprised when it shows up. What you say, your words, what you say is what you get. Instead of talking about killing or dying, why don't you talk about living well, smart investments, living good, traveling good, eating good, life being good, and watch how that energy replicates in your life. See, it's crazy because when you talk about certain things in your music and the listeners are hearing it, subconsciously, those messages are being recorded. Now, people may or may not act on those messages, but man, you are planting the seed. So please plant the right seeds, because people are listening, and some people subconsciously take action on it.
And I mean, it's true. Like it's true. But what gets me is like when everyone is like, you know, so surprised and just like so shook at that type of thing playing out. But it's like that's the type of lifestyle that they claimed to partake in. So it's like, is it really that surprising? And then people talk about the whole selling souls aspect and all of that stuff. And to me, selling souls is really just whenever you are willing to compromise your morals in order to gain fame and fortune, really. In this case specifically too.
I want to tell y'all I apologize and I'm sorry for what I'm about to say, but as far as this music stuff, I won't be doing this music stuff anymore. I started this because this was my dream, and you know, I wanted to make sure I could get me and my kids out the hood. It's always been my passion to rap. A while ago, I had signed a contract and I didn't know nothing about the business or this game out here. And just right now, I'm realizing that I signed my soul. I sold my soul to the devil. I signed myself to the devil. I don't even own myself no more. I sold my soul to the motherfucking devil, and I done prayed. I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. You know, it's just like, I don't know if God can get me out of this, you know, and it's just like to the point where I don't even know, like I just want to say I'm sorry to my fans. I know y'all love me. I know y'all believe in me, but I can't. I didn't know what I was doing back then, and I lost passion. I don't even believe that I don't even believe in myself no more because of what I did. I did not know the game was like this. And I'm just ready to go back to school. I'm just ready to move away and go to school. I just want to tell everybody I'm sorry. And I won't be making any more music until I'm out of this contract. And who knows if that'll ever happen. Like, who knows if that can ever happen. I don't know. I done prayed and I prayed and I prayed. I don't even know if God can hear me at this point. But I just made the biggest mistake that I ever made. And I just hope, if you're an artist, make sure you have an attorney to read over your contract. And don't let the person that you signed it to pick the attorney. Don't let them pay for the attorney either. Because the attorney working for them. But I just lost my passion for this and I'm just going to go back to...
Okay, so that video is so eerie, low-key, like, it's just eerie vibes all throughout the video. But the craziest thing about it is the follow-up video that she did after that one. She did an interview, like, it's just wild.
He was picking this video up about, this bad deal that you signed.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about that. A lot of people talk about the video. And during that time, like, a bitch be real sensitive when they on their period. Like, bitch, I always be crying on my period and shit. But I feel like I was sad as hell because I did not know nothing about this game. Like, I didn't know that, man, I did not know how this game was. I didn't know the business. And I just know if somebody flaunt a couple dollars at me and they like, well, listen, we could do this for you. We could do this. And of course, like, your first deal gonna be a worse deal. Like, you really got to know this business. And I'm just so happy that I found out what the business was, and big people was looking at me at that time. I was like, nah, this not for you. This ain't even right. This shit is the worst shit that you could even go into. And it was just I'm so grateful and thankful that it never even existed. I didn't even know. I thought I was in something that I wasn't in. And like people say, well, I thought you sold your soul to the devil. Like, sold my soul to the devil. I'm like, when I was speaking, I was talking about, I basically, like, when you do a contract and you sign all your rights away, it feels like you don't own yourself. And I did not like that feeling. So a lot of people take it the wrong way, but I just want to let y'all know that y'all really got to do the business and get a lawyer, and not the lawyer that worked for the label that you signed for, but really learn the business before you sign to people. And sometimes people aren't bad people. It's just, that's not the deal for you. And that was not the deal for me. Not at all.
Now, you spoke on selling your soul. You said you sold your soul. That was one thing that caught a lot of people.
Yeah.
When you said that, explain that, because when people speak on the music industry nowadays, it's a lot of, selling your soul.
Well, I'm just now getting in the music industry. I wasn't in the music. I was in the streets. So when I said that, I mean, I really signed my life away. That's what I felt like. I signed my life away. Like, I can't do what I want. I can't make the music I want. I can't move how I want. Like, I don't have no control over the shit that I want to do. This is my dream. I work for this. This is my personality. God gave me this. Can't nobody tell me what the fuck to do. We can agree on what we gonna do to pursue what we trying to do. But that's how I felt. Like, I don't move like that. But for anybody that feel like that, I really love the Lord, and I'm talking about Father God, not no Satan, not nothing like that. God, the one who got me here. I might not be doing the best things. I might not be a Christian rapper, but I put all my faith in the Lord. Like, seriously, that's the only way I got here, from manifesting it and being thankful for my situation. So, I don't know.
Like, it's really giving the Illuminati gathered her ass and was like, bitch, like, don't play with me. Retract all statements. Like, what? Talk about a complete 180. Like, it's two different people in them videos. Like, it's just wild. But there's been many artists who have really came out and spoken out, kind of, I guess you could say, maybe against the industry or against, like, the movement, where they're like, don't really feel that great about the type of music that they've done, or they want to go a different route.
Why I didn't want to do this song, Shake It, or like any drill songs, because it's like these songs are activating like these demons. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be that girl anymore. Like I just want to be a mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be that old Cardi anymore. I left that lifestyle a long time ago, bro. Like, I don't want to be that anymore. Like,
and for anyone saying, oh, when she's saying demons, she's not talking about nothing like that. Like, what do you think demons are? Like, demons is not just this figure, this being that just got horns and looks scary, you know, like Satan, demons, things like that is simply just the lowest forms of vibrations that there can be, the most negative form of energy that there is. And so when you take on that energy and take on that form, you do and act in those negative, low vibrational type of ways, like killing other people, murdering, just being an evil person and doing evil things like that, including glamorizing and glorifying a lifestyle of murderous killing, and especially corrupting the youth to be on that type of time. And that's why people say the music is demonic, because demonic just means evil, and the music is talking about doing evil things like brutal murder and killing.
And I woke up one morning, I was like, damn, they got me. Man, look at the shit I spoke about. Look at the shit I put in these people's ears. Man, I feel very wrong about a lot of things. How many lives I actually am responsible for when it comes to my music. How many kids and people have gotten in the car or put this shit in their ears and actually went hurt someone. And now I'm sitting back like, damn, I can't do it all in one day. But I promise to clean whatever I can clean. But it's gonna take time.
You know, the music is just intentionally low vibrational. It's intentionally like that, and it's intentionally negative, because at the end of the day, like, we're energetic beings, and like, we're directly affected by that. We're directly affected by energy, right? And you gotta know how the big boys play in order to play with them. Like, you gotta know the rules of the game, or you're gonna lose at it. You're gonna continue to lose at the game, right? Elite to know this, okay? If you don't know this by now, at this point in your life, energy is the most powerful thing on this planet. It's the most powerful thing that you can possess, because it's really how you manifest and create your life and create your world. And so the elites, they know this. They're completely aware of this. So they have this knowledge and information, and they intentionally withhold it from the rest of humanity to keep it for themselves, in order to garner control and power over the world, really. I always love to give my personal touch, because I just feel like it's just relatable. But I remember, like, several years ago, I used to be on the way to work, okay, like Ultimate in the Wind, and I'll have my music playing, and it would be that rah-rah violent type of, like, murderous type of music, you know, because in those times, it would give me that adrenaline rush. It's kind of like a hype type of music, you know what I'm saying? And that's all that I looked at it as. And for some reason, one day, I'm just super intuitive and self-aware. I just remember asking myself, like, do I really like this? Like, not do I like the song, the artist, or like the music, but like, do I like what they're talking about? Do I like the lyrics? And honestly, like, the answer was a no-brainer. It was no. Like, do I like murder, and do I like killing, and do I like killing each other with guns, and like being really violent and taking lives and glamorizing that and talking about it like it's a cool thing and a good thing? I don't like any of that stuff. And so that's exactly what discernment is. Looking at it at like face value for what it really is, and just deciding, how do it make you feel? Like, do I get happy from this? Do I do this thing? Do I genuinely like this thing? Do I want this thing to be a part of me and my life and around me? And the answer is no, I don't. So then I couldn't help but to question myself even more. Then it's like, why do I like indulge and partake in it? And it really, on a grander scale, it makes me question society in that way too. Why do people love music about death, violence, murder, and destruction, but they don't actually like death, violence, murder, and destruction? Like when they turn on the news at night and they see someone has died, when they see that their favorite rapper who raps about those things have died, they're in tears, they're upset, and they're sad. But at the same time, we promote that type of lifestyle. It's contradicting. And that's truly what brainwashing is. It's like when you do something and you don't even realize what you're doing it, like that you're doing it. As a society, we're so like collectively, a lot of us just are not aware enough of ourselves and our actions and things like that, because there is no logic. And constantly, like, if this is the majority of what you listen to, partake in, and maybe you even rap about it yourself, like, but you're sad when someone close to you dies, or you're sad when you hear about someone else's death, or you're sad when you hear about someone getting hurt. So it's like, well, why would you promote that, and why do you glamorize it if you don't actually like said thing? It just really goes to show how we could easily be manipulated and controlled. Because why on earth would a society of people be given this genre of music and embrace it with open arms? Like, embrace music about murder with open arms, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like a counter argument would be, well, this is just the reflection of society. This is just a reflection of some people's real deal lives. But my next question would be, like, who made it that way? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all orchestrated. It's an orchestra. Like, it's all being placed intentionally in places, and it's all like it's an entire agenda. Like, it doesn't just stop with the music, and it's not only the music industry, it's not only rap music. It's like all of the industry, entertainment industry, Hollywood is just riddled with like satanic, demonic, ritualistic vibes, all in these music videos, all in like the art, like the album covers. And
the music business is ran by the devil. So the music business is only designed to get as many people to go away from God as possible. So what happens is the devil needs workers, and by workers, he needs people who have influence, who can mislead or misguide people away from the light into the darkness. So this is why the artist is powerful. So the artist is the mouthpiece. Okay? That artist is the mouthpiece between the devil and the fan. And the artist's job is to get you to throw up these weird signs. What are you doing this for? This is the Baphomet. I don't fuck with this. So don't think I'm throwing this up because I don't fuck with this. When you see the checkerboards, when you hear them talking about demon time and drill and kill and all this shit, even the actual beat and the BPM, it's all 808 drums. This is all low vibrational shit. The artist is only the tool used to push the message of the devil.
I mean, just look at Snoop Dogg video, and he is literally talking about selling his soul to the devil. I mean, this shit is always hiding in plain sight. This stuff is very simple. It's not complex at all. You cannot overthink it. You can't think about this shit in a very biblical, ancient type of way. You can't think about the devil or Satan in that way, or as if this demon devil is just behind and orchestrating this entire thing. What it is that the most evils of evil in this world uses the media to enact their evil and nefarious agenda. One way they do that is by signing people to become artists, which is the concept of signing your soul, because now that artist is going to be used as a vessel for the agenda. They're going to be used to influence, corrupt society, corrupt the youth, spew negativity in order to create and manifest more negativity in the world and a more negative society. And the reason these evil elitists do this is because they feed off of negativity, and they're better able and more able to control society if they control everything that they listen to and hear. And if after this you believe all this shit is just a coincidence, then congratulations, bitch. You've been successfully brainwashed.
This stuff has always been going on. Everything has been infiltrated everywhere, and I'm just really speaking on just like the rap aspect of it, but it's all throughout the entertainment industry. And it really brings me back to knowing how the big boys play, like really knowing the game plan, the end plan, the agenda, just being aware of it. Because if you know anything about the brain, if you know anything about universal laws, and if you know anything about energetic levels and absorption of energy, even within humans, then you know how consistent and constant repetition of anything can affect the mind in massive ways. And so, you know, these elitists know this, and they use that to their advantage because we don't know it. You know, some of us know it, but not everybody knows it. Not everybody believes it. And not everybody gives a fuck, to be honest, unfortunately. No, but it really affects your mind, and it really programs it. You know, like your mind is programmable. Everything that you believe, you've been programmed to believe, whether it's good or bad. You know what I'm saying? It's not a bad thing that it's being programmed, but it's just that's just what it is. And so, if your mind is only being programmed with negative things, like we're just a reflection. We're gonna reflect that. You know, that's how energy works. We're gonna absorb that energy, and then we're gonna transmit it and reflect that energy back out. And it's just in order to create a more chaotic, destructive, disastrous, negative society. You know, because that's how they're able to gain their power and their control. When there's smoke and mirrors going on, when there's chaos going on, like they can gather everyone in a herd and just better able to control society in that way, and to create a reality that they want to create, you know, this negative, nasty, ugly reality. But we as a people have to be responsible and aware enough to say, we don't want that type of reality for ourselves. We want something else, and we want something better, you know, for ourselves and our children and the next generation. I am a peace freak. So that's just me in general anyway, which is really like how I came to like this realization on, you know, this topic, to be honest. It's just because I'm just that type of person, you know. So a good question is are you programming your mind, or is someone else programming it for you? You know, if you're not aware that your mind can even be programmed, then how would you know that it is being programmed by someone else, or that you can reprogram it yourself? You know what I mean? And so just having this knowledge just really brings me into like the conclusion, like, listen, I'm not trying to be nobody's dictator. All right, I'm not trying to force anyone to do anything. Like, do what you want to do, listen to what you want to listen to. At the end of the day, I feel like I'm just giving information. I'm just giving you the knowledge on a platter, and you just do what you will with it. Because honestly, you know, I would be lying if I said I didn't turn on music that talked about something violent every now and again. It is so much more minimized in my life, and it wasn't anything honestly that I intentionally did. It's just the path that I'm on, and just, you know, like what I choose to engage in, like naturally. It's nothing that I force upon myself. You know, if I like it, I'm gonna listen to it, you know. But it's just the music just don't make me feel that good. And whenever you know the truth behind something, it can affect how you feel about it as well. So it's not huge in my music catalog at all whatsoever. Honestly, most of the time I listen to like R&B music. Like, I love alternative R&B, 90s R&B. I love all genres, honestly. But my whole point is that I'm not a perfect person, and I still do what the fuck I want to do, because I'm human and I'm here to enjoy life and experience this shit like how I want to, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm not trying to force anyone to do anything, but I feel like you having this knowledge, me having this knowledge, is you actually taking your power back. That's because now you know and understand that this music is meant to affect you in this way, but now you have the choice to not let it, because you're aware that that's what it was meant to do, you know, in the beginning. Hopefully that makes sense. Like, if you don't know you're being controlled, then you can't stop it. You know, if you don't know something, if you're not aware that something is happening or existing, you can't do anything about it, because you're not even aware of it, of its existence, right? So now that you can just be more mindful and more aware of maybe your own actions, or maybe how certain type of music make you feel. And this really applies to every and anything in life. It isn't just music, but it applies to every and anything. And it'll just allow you to question things more when you decide to indulge and question what you want around you, what you want to have access to you, the type of energies you want to be a part of yourself and a part of your daily life and stuff like that. You know, knowledge is a weapon. And so I just want to equip folks with knowledge, to be honest, so that they can use it to their advantage. Like, do what you do. But I do feel like this type of information just can help people, help society, help humanity. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we are just all here to evolve, and that's what the experience is about. And so I just feel like this information can help us all do so. And just like, I mean, it's still kind of, this is on topic, but it's kind of like off a little bit, but this just makes me think, like, how different would the world be if this music genre like wasn't so popular, it wasn't so popularized, like if this music genre almost didn't exist in this way, or, you know, would like like how different would people's personalities be? Like, you know, honestly, when I look out into society and I see like everyone who, you know, wants to, I guess, just be a rapper, everyone who wants to be so in the streets and so gangster and gang affiliated and stuff, like, a lot of the time I can't help but to think that that personality was given to them, and that's not their true selves, and that's not their real personality. Because just think about how many people have been affected by this agenda. You know, this agenda is playing out, like it's in real time, we seeing it, you know what I'm saying? So it's a successful agenda, as they really all are when you look at society. Another video, but it's been successful, and it's affected humanity in a drastic way. Like, it's really put a dent into it, you know what I'm saying? We've adopted violence as our culture. Like, it's literally like, this shit is a part of our culture type shit, you know? And I just can't help but to wonder, like, how different would people's personalities be? Is this even their real, true, authentic personality? Or did they just get swept up and caught up in the agenda? Are they just being brainwashed, honestly? Are they just the being used as that pawn to, you know, for the elitist to almost be robotic and act like this type of person that this music has influenced them to be? You know what I'm saying? That's just how my mind thinks. But I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it with you with that. And if you made it to the end, you're a real one, and I fuck with you. But thank y'all for tuning in and watching.